Hello, welcome to another video on collector versus hoarder. When it comes to collecting, I don't know how one collector can be so different from another collector, okay? I can tell you that I don't know why or how or what influenced me into taking care of my stuff. I don't know, okay? I really can't pinpoint the reasons why, even though in the early days of me buying books off the rack, I was super careful with them. You know, I mean, outside of the very first issue that I bought, that I read to death, and on top of that, I never talk about how the very first book I bought, it was not in near mint condition. When I bought it, it's already got banged up from the rack. You know, the Iron Man 150. I have shown that book many times, and I should have pulled out for this video, but it right now it probably is a 6.5, maybe a 7, if that. But when I bought it, it was at best 8.5, 9.0 because of the spine takes that was on the book and the little corner ding. So, but ever since then, regardless about the book that I just bought, I didn't care. I didn't know about future values. I didn't know about what these things can be worth later. I just want them to be pristine. So I don't know where that came from. For those old timers like me, let me know what you think is your reason to keep your stuff in near mint condition even though you read what you bought. It boggles my mind looking back, like how is it or what came over me that I was so obsessed about these items that I was so careful. I would go to the shop. I mean, my pull list was very small. It's like 5 books. It started out 2. Well, I bought the first book by itself, and then shortly after that it grew to 2 books, and then 3 books, and even 2 or 3 years later it was not even 10 titles. So I had a very small pull list, but when I went to the store, they gave me one of those brown paper bag that I put the books in, and I'm like holding it like at the corner. I mean, I don't even grab the bag where the books is. I mean, I literally hold the bags at the corner and then walk home with it. At the time, in my early years of collecting, I had 2 classmates, schoolmates, that walked to the LCS with me. And they were completely different. Both of them collected years before me. Years, okay? And here's an example. I have shown this book before. This is the first double covers that I bought off the rack in 1982. Summer of 1982. I remember, going through the rack to pick out the nicest copy, and I remember, I look at it, I'm like, oh, nice. And I open it, double cover, yeah. And I'm like, whoa, mind blown. So I told my buddies, I told my 2 friends at the store at the time, hey, look what I got. So they both went through the rack, and as you know it, when you know it, both of them found another copy. So we all 3 of us walked out of the store with a double cover of this issue. Yeah. And here's the funny part. Of course, mine is in the paper bag, right, that I hold at the corner, gingerly. And one of my friend, as he always does, doesn't matter, it's a cool double cover book, folded right in half, put it in his back pocket where his comb is. I didn't care, okay? For me, it was not like me saying, oh my God, you're destroying the book, it didn't matter. It's his book. He can do whatever he wants. And that attitude has has came with me even today. If it's your book, you can do whatever you want with them. I don't care. I I know what I want to do with my book. That's all that matters. Okay, I'm not in the business of telling people how to handle their books or what to do with their books. It is what it is. But yeah, back in those days, my two friends who has been in the hobby much longer than I have didn't care about the condition. Comic books was disposable entertainment. Double covers or not, it did not matter. Yeah. So yeah, it boggles my mind in hindsight to look back and say, wow, they did that to the book. I mean, I was not like saddened that they did that to the book. It's their book. But still, I'm just like, why is it that I was so anal about taking care of my books even in those early days when I know nothing about value and worth and all that stuff? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe the collector God put some fairy dust on me, but who knows? But that's a story of how, you know, collectors can be so different even back then. More so back then, right? So yeah, I love to hear stories of other people on at what point did they start to take care of their books, right? Some people may have started out pretty rough. I have seen story of people showing me books that they bought off the rack that they beat to hell. I can tell you, nothing that I bought off the rack, even in 1981, is beat to hell. Nothing. So I'm always curious to see, like, at what point does a collector say to himself or herself, you know, maybe I should take care of these things. Maybe I shouldn't beat it to hell. Let me know. I like to hear story. Make a video. You know how it is about this community. It's about sharing stories. That is more interesting than just show the books. So that's the first part, collectors, hoarding. No doubt, I hoard a lot of stuff, but there have been a few occasions where I succeeded, in my opinion. In my mind, I succeeded in saying, stop, don't buy that. Regardless of how cool you think that book is, if you're gonna hoard that for future investment or future flipping, it's not all that. Okay, it's not all that. That book is not all that. So don't do it. Put your money somewhere else. Okay. And here's an example of a book that I like. I had a chance to buy many copies of this book. It's not. Some people think it might be rare, but if I look, I can find it. You know. But I had stopped. I stopped at 2, so it's definitely one of those few occasions where I caught myself early many years ago. Yeah. Yeah. The Seas, right? Caliber presents. I like Crow. I talk about how, you know, I never bought the book off the rack. So when I returned to the hobby later and see the movie and found out that the character, the movie came from this book, it's one of the very few, if not the only occasion where the movie influenced me to go buy a book. Okay, so I went and found myself a near mint copy, and then I found another copy on eBay, right? And then I decided it's time to stop, regardless of how much I like this character, because yeah, for near mint copy, if you pay attention on eBay, you'll likely be able to find a near mint copy for 300 around there, he'll take, right? If you pay attention, a slab copy go for maybe 400, 500. I don't know. It's been a long time since I pay attention to the value of this book, and then I peek into the value of this book here and there over the past few years whenever there is any kind of rumors that they're gonna reboot The Crow. Yeah, it's just one of those books where, in many ways, as much as I wanted to hoard it because I really like the book, the character, common sense did come over me and say, don't do it. You have 2 copies, enough is enough. It's not a book to get rich on. And I have advised many people over the years, should you invest in this book? If you have it, if you can find a copy for cheap, why not? But would I tell someone to like put $300 in a name mint copy and then wait 5 years and double their money with the movie? I don't know. If I want to double my money if I want to double my money, as you know, I can easily do that instead of buying this book and let it sit there and collect dust, right? So yeah, sometimes common sense does win over with me, especially when it comes down to hoarding and trying to make money. Some books are just not worth hoarding. Thanks for watching.